presentation will be in English, so hopefully you will receive the translation in German, if necessary. This presentation is about the post-consultation summary of the amendments which are planned for Cosmos Standard version 4. I will give an overview of all the proposed new criteria, and let me please before just introduce Cosmos Standard. Cosmos Standard is a guarantee for consumers for authentic, organic and natural cosmetics and ingredients. It is the most widely used cosmetic standard for certified cosmetic products, either organic or natural. For the time being, we have more than 50,000 products in total, 12,000 certified ingredients, and 7,000 approved raw materials in this 50,000 total of products. 2,100 companies are following Cosmos Standard certification in 71 countries. Cosmos Standard is a non-profit organization in Brussels, the Cosmos Standard AISBL. It is jointly developed and managed by leading associations and certifiers in organic and natural cosmetics. You see here the founding members, which are BDIH, CosmeBio, EcoCert, EGEA, and Soil Association. In addition, there are 12 certification bodies which are responsible for the certification of all these compounds and products. The Cosmos Standard is guided by 4 core principles. First, the promoting the use of products from organic agriculture and respecting biodiversity. Second, the use of natural resources responsibly and respecting the environment. Third, using processing and manufacturing that are clean and respectful of human health and the environment. And fourth, integrating and developing the concept of green chemistry. Here's an overview of updates of the Cosmos Standard since 2010, and we now speak for the planned publication of version 4 and of 2022. The principal motivations for the development of the Cosmos Standard are the following. First, to ensure criteria are still demanding and ambitious, driving best practice whilst ensuring the standard still remains achievable. Third, aiming for as little use of petrochemistry, integrating and developing the concept of green chemistry, and finally, in anticipating and reflecting consumer expectations on safety, sustainability, and traceability. The changes for this version 4 are the result of far-reaching international review by Cosmos working groups, and especially by a public consultation process held in 2021. I now come to the summary or to the overview of all the key priorities, which I will now explain in all the details. So the key priority 1, first is to strengthen palm oil and palm oil derivatives criteria, particularly in regard to primary forest protection. All palm oil and palm kernel oil derivatives and their derivatives have to be under RSPO certification mainly. In addition, of course, there's the possibility for other certification systems like the SAN, the RSB, or UEBT. The minimum level for the RSPO certification is the mass balance certification, which is the minimum. Of course, then the segregated version or also identity preserved IP version are accepted, while book and claim is not. The criteria applicable for single substances, for substances mixed in a blend with other substances derived from palm, and also mixtures of palm derivatives and other substances which are not from palm. There's just a little bit of problem with these blends, especially of those which are not only from palm oil. And here we have the following process. There must be a statement from the company producing this blend that he only use if from palm oil certified ingredients. And the sustainable certificate of the company producing this, the certified ingredients must be available and provided. Second key priority is to develop sustainable criteria for mineral origin ingredients. Currently, in version 3, there are just a list of ingredients from mineral origin which are allowed to be used without any further criteria. So there is first point to address the negative impact of manufacturing processes on environment and human safety by shortening some of these products from Appendix 4. So there are 8 mineral origin ingredients which will be deleted in version 4, which you can see here for these 8 ingredients. And the ingredients temporarily allowed always will be reviewed with new standard versions and revisions. Titanium dioxide will be restricted to be used only for sunscreen products or decorative cosmetics. There is one color with the color code CI 77288. It is allowed as an exemption, but only until alternatives will be available. We also want to implement green chemistry principles for mineral origin ingredients, which so far is not the case. The ingredients of mineral origin have to comply with the following green chemistry principles. First, the atom economy, which means there must be a yield of the last step, which is more than 50% for the desired product. Then reducing the energy consumption during processes, and minimizing the waste during manufacturing, also to ensure human health and safety throughout the supply chain. And the manufacturers will be asked to provide the evidence of this compliance. And third, there will be implementation of social criteria to ensure mineral supply chain commitment. In addition to the Cosmos standard, we recommend to be a member, for example, with the Global MICA standard. And companies will need to provide details in the raw material questionnaire, which of course always is the basis to approve new ingredients. Let's come to key point 3, the review of ingredients and processes currently in version 3. Of course, to maintain the high quality of the Cosmos standard, there are 3 aspects. First, clarification of nanomaterial. What is a nanomaterial? It's defined in EU cosmetic regulation, but there is another European Commission recommendation which gives the nanoparticles to be those which have more than 50% of nanoparticles in the scale from 1 to 100 nanometer. They are allowed as UV filters with nanomaterials for titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, restricted, as said before, to sunscreen products, and allowed also is silica, which also falls in the nanomaterial definition. Any other nanomaterials are not allowed, and there must be a quantitative analysis method to show that they are below the 50%. And this quantitative method analysis would be the scanning electron microscopy. And for the listed ingredients here, these quantitative SEM analysis has to be performed for the cerium dioxide, the hydroxyapatite, the silica, the titanium dioxide, and the zinc oxide. For these, of course, in the case where they are not used as a sunscreen. Next is to review the process of sulfation/sulfonation. In the version 4, sulfonation is a forbidden process for ingredients under Cosmos. The restrictions now applied to sulfation/sulfatation are to allow sulfonation at carbon and oxygen or oxygen without use of chlorinated sulfation ingredients. Permitted are only the surfactants for rinse-off products, while all the sulfates for emulsifiers or emulsifying sulfates are prohibited already. And finally, the aim is to not allow any more sulfated ingredients, which at the moment we think could be maybe achieved with alternatives within 6 years after publication of the Cosmos standard. And of course, there will be a review of the current situation if these alternatives are available already. Then there's key priority 4, to reflect improved availability for physically processed agro ingredients that must be organic. That means if we have the two certification systems, one is the Cosmos Natural, Naturkosmetik, one is the Cosmos Organic, Organic Cosmetic, and there will be an extended new list of plants which have to be used in organic quality, beside the minimum percentages which need to be used for organic certification. And here's just a huge list of new plants, and for all these plants there are INCI definitions which have to be then used in organic quality. Of course, there might be necessity to define exemptions because of bad harvest or others. And here you can see all these total of PPAI, the physically processed agro ingredients for organic certified finished cosmetic products. Key priority 5 deals with the protection of endangered species in the harvest of raw materials. It will be forbidden to use primary raw materials harvested, collected by threatened species listed in the IUCN Red List of endangered species. And companies finally shall ensure due diligence on the sourcing of ingredients to make sure that threatened species are not used for the harvest, collection of primary raw materials, and companies need to provide an attestation to follow this. So that means basically this is for example coconut collection by endangered apes, but not only for those, but there might be also other cases. The final key priority 6 is to strengthen sustainable packaging criteria. There are already, of course, criteria for packaging with which materials are allowed, which are not allowed. And here we add new criteria, which finally will be as following. Maybe it's a little bit better to start with this table here. We have 4 principles. The first principle would be to reduce packaging in total. Second would be to reuse what is available. Third is to use renewable starting materials. And fourth would be to recycle, to have recyclable material, but as well also already recycled material to be used. And there are indicators for each of these principles, which we just go through. Oops. Of course, there is the necessity to have appropriate volume or weight ratio between the packaging and the product itself. So not to have a bit too much, too big secondary packaging compared to the inside product. Sorry, I always use the wrong one. Of course, you also could use no secondary packaging at all. You could sell bulk products. And there should be no single-use products such as samples, or to avoid them as much as possible. For the reuse second principle, there is a possibility to have refillable, reusable packaging, returnable glass and other materials, second life packaging organized by the operator. And for principle 3, renewable, there of course could be use of renewable materials, biodegradable or compostable packaging materials, environmental certifications such as FSC, PEFC for paper card, and the use of natural-based inks and adhesives on labels. For the fourth principle, we have the possibility to minimize, to have a minimum of 20% recycled content in the primary packaging. It should be at least these 20%. Then, of course, very important to use monomaterials for packaging so that everything could be recycled, would be ideal. Then use packaging materials, if not monomaterials, that can be separated, so that separated materials can be recycled as well. organize empty packaging recollection deposit by company itself or external third party, and also, of course, use recyclable label materials. So these are the ideas, the 4 principles with the indicators. And now let's come back to the foil before. The criteria should be as follow. So each company, for each SKU they have, should give the current status. What of these indicators is already used? And within 3 years of a review, there should be a review to see what could be improved. This, of course, should be then tested if it's possible, if it's compatible with the cosmetics inside. But there should be minutes about these ideas. If there will be a positive result or not is not really the case. The case is that we want companies to review things and to think about improvements. If they then finally can be used or not is a result. And of course, companies should care for visibility of the records from packaging material quantities against the cosmetic products quantities to see if you have really maybe more packaging than cosmetic inside. And of course, only the list of the accepted materials can be the recycled materials, which are allowed for recycling. Then finally, there is an update of some definitions, which is important to clarify them. First, there's an update for organic. What does it mean, organic? It's a production system that complies with and is certified to regulation 834/2017. There is a new version from 2018. Of course, this is now applicable, and the USDA National Organic Program. And also, of course, accepted is this standard, which means the Cosmos standard, or certified by other internationally recognized organic standards by duly constituted certification bodies. Considered as internationally recognized, organic standards are the following. It's, of course, as I said before, the EU organic standard and as well the US NOP organics regulation. In addition, there are accepted all the organic standards listed under the IFOAM family of standards. There's just a note here maybe. It is anticipated that the Brazilian regulation for organic farming will meet the conditions of this updated definition before the end of the transition period of version 4 Cosmos standard. Then there is a clarification, what does it mean, organic content? Organic content in raw materials, in mixtures, in cosmetic products. It's always that part of an ingredient or product coming from an organic production system where the ingredient is certified in accordance with the technical requirements as described above. So that means if there is any part or any ingredient of a mixture with organic content, it's accepted with this organic content. Then there's a clarification of the definition of raw materials. Raw materials, of course, first are substances and mixtures which are provided to cosmetic manufacturers to be used as ingredients during the process of manufacturing. Of course, there also could be substances and mixtures which are provided to end users to be used together with other substances and mixtures for a cosmetic purpose. So that means raw material is something which could be used all over, but if it's used in cosmetics, it's an ingredient. Then finally, let's discuss about timelines for the version 4 of Cosmos Standard. The anticipated publication date will be end of 2022. And the earliest application date will be May 2023. Then, of course, we need to define the transition measures so that all cosmetic products and raw materials which are not in compliance with the new standard version 4 These may continue to be certified or approved according to the previous standard version 3. And this is applicable for 18 months from the date of application. That means all the already certified products can go with the production to version 3. But important to know, this 18 months of transition period, of course, ends then also with the sale of of the finished products or ingredients. So that means in 18 months, there still can be production to version 3, but sales must be completed also within these 18 months. There are some special transition periods. Paragraph 8, packaging criteria. These must be met within 24 months after application of the standard. And then there is paragraph 613 in the standard, the physically processed agro-ingredients, primary raw material collecting by threat and species, listed in this UACN red list. There will be criteria. The criteria must be met within the 18 months from the date of application, regardless of the submission date. The first transition period, these 24 months, was related to the application date prior to the new standard. Then finally, Appendix 2. What I said before, the sulfated surfactants are allowed up to 6 years after publication of the Cosmos Standard version 4. So this is basically the end. So if you have further questions, need more discussion, we are in Hall 2, booth A18, B15. IONC GmbH is an authorized certification body for Cosmos Standard. It's accredited by IOAS. Here you will find the contact with the email address and also the website. Thank you very much for your interest.